Velvet Lamb. I was diagnosed with ACC in December of 2015. I was diagnosed at stage 4.
Great. And how many doctors did you have to see to get your diagnosis?
This was a tough question. I really was doing a lot of 1, 2, 3. The nearest I can guess is 12.
Oh,
That's primary care, urgent care, ER doctors, gastroenterologists. That's where I came up was 12.
and how long did that take?
4 years?
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. If I go back and look and try to figure out when did I really start seeing big problems, it was 4 years. And I got answers like, oh, you need to lose weight, or you need to exercise, or you need to, you know, increase your vitamin intake, sleep more, but nobody really dug very far. One doctor said I had an ulcer because of the pain. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. I remember one of the doctors telling me, because my liver enzymes were up, maybe you should stop drinking alcohol, which, I wasn't a big partier. I
Hmm.
thought,
Yeah.
anyways, well, great. So why do you think it's important to see an expert?
Um, I mean, I think it's important because ACC is incredibly rare. And there's not a lot of doctors that know anything about it, let alone know how to actually treat it, how to deal with the symptoms. When I was first diagnosed, the oncologist I was assigned to had never even heard of adrenal cancer, and there wasn't one in my area. So he reached out to an expert and coordinated all of my care through a doctor that was a few hundred miles away. I was always impressed that he had the lack of ego to be able to say, I don't know what to do. I'm going to find somebody who will. Um, and he kind of explained it as, if you need a lawyer, you're not going to call a plumber. And I think that's really good advice. Doctors that are seeing HCC patients all the time understand our symptoms, whether it's from the treatment or from the disease itself. So I can't stress enough how important I think an expert is for this.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Good answer.
Thanks.
Yeah. Um, what do you wish you knew then that you know now?
Um, I think the biggest thing is that the information that when I was first diagnosed, the information that I found on the internet was dated. It was not accurate. The statistics were terrifying. And I bought into it hook, line, and sinker. I mean, the more I read, the less hope I felt, and I just got deeper and deeper into this despair. And I wish that I had known then to look for other patients, because as soon as I found you all,
Mhm.
my perspective changed, and I saw hope every single day.
Oh,
Yeah.
I feel the same
Yeah.
exact way. And I just talked to Kay and she does too. So tell me more about the support group. And do you think it's important because I've seen people both ways. Do you think
Mhm.
it's important to join a support group when you're diagnosed?
I do. And I think for some people it's a mental health, aspect. And I think for a lot of people, they think I can do this on my own. And there's nothing wrong with doing it on your own, but there's really no reason to. There's people who are in all stages of this.
Right.
Um, and why invent the wheel on your own when you're, facing all of these issues? Not only in our support group did I learn what ACC really was, what my options were, the lingo, all of it. I learned all of that in there, but I also learned how to keep living while I was going through this. And there was nowhere else that I would have learned that other
Right.
than from other patients. And I think since I've been diagnosed, I live my life completely different. And it's because of the people I met in my support group.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. Um, what advice would you give to a newly diagnosed patient?
The advice I would give a newly diagnosed patient is to advocate for themselves. I think back to all of those 12 doctors that I saw, and I never felt like their answer was right, but I kind of nodded and went along and went, okay, yeah, maybe I do need to lose weight or extra, whatever their advice was. So I think the biggest thing is to advocate for themselves, whether that's speaking up, getting a new doctor, getting a second opinion, but also at work, speak up, tell your boss what your limitations are. At home, I think especially as parents, we want to still be super moms and super dads, and it's not necessary. Advocate for yourself and tell all of the people in your life what you need.
Right. Excellent. And
Not easy. I mean,
no,
I say that like, oh,
I
just
know.
get up and say it. It's not easy, but even if you have to practice,
Right.
you're the only person that's going to stand up for yourself.
And then you can go and vent to all of us at the support group when
That's right. Exactly.
that, or get the nudge to be like, go do it. You can do it, Velvet. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what or who gives you hope?
This was a tough question because initially, my first answer was my family and, all of that. And they do, don't get me wrong. But really what gives me hope, I think back to the day that they diagnosed me and they said, you do have ACC. And the doctor who told me was in a hurry because it was Christmas, it was December 23rd. And I said, I don't know what that means. And he said, it means you have about 90 days to get your affairs in order. And he walked out of the room. That was 8 years ago.
Wow.
So it really gives me hope when I think about basically what is the word I'm looking for? The landscape of ACC 8 years ago versus what it is now.
Yes.
It's completely changed.
Mhm.
And 8 years is not a long time. And so I think about what is this going to be like in another 8 years? And it fills me with hope because I think it's going to be a completely different scenario than it is right now.
Yes. Yes. I mean, every year and then finding these doctors who are so passionate and devoting their lives to it that's been everything for me. So just got to keep on fighting the good fight.
Absolutely.
So at the end, is there anyone that you want to thank specifically, like your doctors, your family, anyone? We're going to kind of play like a little thank you to the docs and to family members and stuff.
Absolutely. My kids and my new husband, obviously. But I think I had so many amazing nurses and surgeons, and I think about all of the people that it took to get me here, and it's overwhelming. There were so many amazing people, but I had two oncologists, Dr. Jonathan King and Dr. Stephen Leong, who is no longer acting as an oncologist. He's gone on to do research because he says he's going to cure cancer.
Oh,
I fully believe he will. I mean,
yes.
amazing people. Takes a village to raise us ACC patients for sure.
Oh,
yeah. I know. I wasn't gonna cry. I told Scotty not to cry. But I mean, strangers, dedicate their lives to taking care of us, and that's
right.
Wow,
Huge. I know, and probably forego a lot of their own lives for us.
Absolutely.
That's what blows me away. So,
yeah.
Well, man, you knocked that out of the park, girl.
On my notes. The 28th.
Sounds good.
Anything else? Let me know.
Okay. Thank you, girl.
Bye, my
Bye.
friend.
Love you.
I love you.